I'm like, what's that mean? I'm like, oh, shit, I found my glasses. No, they're just sitting there. We're already in. There we are. I love her. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, where's your camera, girl? There you are. Hang on, I can't hear you.
I look hideous today.
Oh, stop already. You look fine. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Just, you know.
We moved out of the office. We're moving into the home office.
Yeah, I see. Oh, hi. Girl, that is nutso.
It was draining our energy being there.
You sucking the life out of you?
It was way too quiet.
Hey, I had an agent leave too last week.
Oh, really?
So kind of unexpected. Went to go and work with another agent in our town, which is really great. I actually respect him a ton. So it was actually really kind of a good move for her and really a good fit for her because she does a lot of the marketing stuff for him. So it was kind of cool for her.
Oh, good.
Good opportunity. You know, I mean, hey, if you're not thriving where you're at, only you can fix it, you know?
Right, exactly.
That's really good. Well, good. Well, we'll just wait for a few people to get on here. We have a small group today at spring break here. Are you guys having spring break yet?
Not next week.
Next week. Yeah.
I have one staying home today.
Oh, yeah. Sick?
Never a dull moment. I think he just needed a mental brain break.
No. Can I have that mental brain break? I need that mental brain break.
You know, that's how I feel too. I was like, oh, what a perfect day to like be on with you.
Yeah. You're like, okay, great. Everybody's home. Gang's all here.
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay, well, good. Well, we're going to get started here in just a few minutes. I'll wait for everybody to kind of get in. Like literally, we had about 35 people sign up and we usually have about just under 100. So just kind of a slow going today. So you may end up getting just one-on-one. Who else is on here? Sarah Wood. So we see all of you in here. There's Miss Maddie and my girl, McKaylee. Half of my team is I think I've got one maybe in California. I've got one out of town. And then my other agent is up north. So my office is kind of empty today too. And then I think we had Corona in the house on the other side of my office. So their whole team is gone. So it's like, okay, well, I guess we'll just have a nice quick meeting. So yeah.
That'll be good.
Kind of like a one-on-one for you guys.
No kidding. That, which is fine with me if everybody else wants to not join.
Right? I know. It's actually kind of nice when it's kind of small because then we can kind of powwow and chat about it.
Well, and then I don't have to care about how I look today.
Who cares, right? I know. I do not blame you. Oh, there's Chelsea. Hi, Chelsea. There she is. So cute. Hey, Chelsea. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is kind of one of my most favorite things. I was just telling the gals in here, next to talking about investors, like the work mom, you know, realtor boss mom life is like such a challenge. And it's such a, it's such a weird dynamic. And I hate to always toot the horn of like, where I came from, you know, from that very first brokerage where I worked with a bunch of guys, right? I literally did. I worked, there was like 30 dudes in there and three women as well. And the two other women that were with me were top producers. And so they didn't want anything to do with me, you know, and I had these 4 small kids and it was just weird. So I really kind of want to start off just saying how it was interesting because I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but when you're sitting in those meetings at the brokerages and they're like, so we're going to have training and it starts at 8:30 on Mondays, or hey, we're going to have training and it's at 4 o'clock. And you're like, okay, great. 4 o'clock is not going to work for me because 4 o'clock is after the kids are out of school. And if we're going to 8:30 in the morning, that's right when I'm trying to get my kids off to school. So like, it was always really difficult. And I felt like I had to just be really, really quiet about the time that I really needed because nobody, if I said anything, I was almost like, you're just giving yourself an excuse. Like you just want us to make you feel like it's going to be okay. Like, oh, we feel so bad for you. And I didn't ever really want anyone's sympathy. I just wanted them to understand that at the end of the day, I've got these 4 little people that are waiting for me at home, and forget my husband. Like, he was on the back burner, right? Like, bless his heart. Like, how he even stayed married to me, I have no idea, other than I'm probably a huge pain in the butt. But like, honestly, like, we didn't do the whole date night thing. I had 4 small kids under the age of, I mean, they're all 7 years apart. Like, within a 7-year gap, I had 4 kids. And so to me, it was more or less like, I came into the real estate business thinking, because I was one of those people that were like, oh, I'm good at showing houses. I like real estate. And I had no clue what I was even in for. I had no idea of anything called prospecting and script practice and role playing. And I had no clue what I was getting into. So here's what was interesting was when I would go into the brokerage, here's where the things that the brokerage was most important, was like most excited to talk to me about. What time are you getting into the office? What trainings are you going to be showing up to? Are you going to be there for the sales meeting? Do you have something to present in the sales meeting? Are you getting your prospecting in? Are you going to be attending your one-on-one coaching session with the broker? How many contracts did you write? How much do you have pending in income? How much have you closed for the year? Those were the things that the brokerage wanted to know from me. Like, they didn't give crap about what was going on in my personal life. They didn't want to know, hey, Nicole, how many times did you pick up your kids from school this week and that you were on time? Because to me, I'm like over there patting myself on the back, like, dang, I was only late once this week. I was such a good mama, and it's hard. It is not easy. And I just really felt like I was on an island. I really do. And so that's kind of where this whole starting off a team even began. And Kirby, you can appreciate this because you got women on your team. Like, I just wanted to provide an opportunity or something a little different than what everyone else was giving me. So it really was interesting because my priorities really shifted. So back in the day when I first started and I was working at that particular brokerage, here's where the priorities were. Business and prospecting and all that. Those were all the priorities. But nowhere was there ever any room on my list for my kids or for my family or for my home life. I always joke with my kids when they complain about how there's no food in the pantry and, and they just all finally are moving out or whatever, and they're having to pay their own bills. I'm like, hey, every time you flip that light switch on, that's me. Every time you put that food in your mouth, that's me. Every time you flush the toilet, that's me. Like, I pay all those bills, so have a little respect, have a little gratitude for me, because that's all me, if ever they got to a point where they felt like they were being ungrateful. So my priorities really shifted from that brokerage, from really being all about the business and trying to work and build the business. And after 5 years, I was like, something's off. Like, I'm missing out on my kids' performances. I'm not taking my kids to school anymore. I'm not getting home until 5 o'clock at night. And then I'd attend my appointments at 7. And then I would go on the listing appointment, and then I would or wouldn't get it. And then I'd start all over again at 6 o'clock in the morning and start, headed back to the office. I had a 30-minute commute, and then I'd do role playing at 7 a.m. I was missing out on the mom life. So the priorities shifted. So my priorities then became kids, family, home, business. It had to be just those 4 things. So what I ended up doing was making sure, first and foremost, is let's talk about some of the major areas that I wanted to cover today. First of all is the time management. Out of all the things that I probably discuss the most is people are like, how do you manage your time the most? And I would say protect your time like it was one of your kids. It is the most important thing that you absolutely have during the day. And only you and I can decide who we're going to give our time to. So during the day, I'm kind of a brat in that I don't go to lunch with lenders. I don't go to lunch with title companies. I don't do, if someone wants to come in and meet my team, you can come in, but you can come in during my office meeting, and I'm going to give you 15 minutes, and you can come at the beginning of our meeting. And if you're late and you miss it, you're going to have to reschedule, because my time is important, and I'm not going to go to lunch. Like, I've got lunch. If you want to bring lunch in for my team, that's great. But I can afford my own lunch. So we don't need to waste time sitting in a restaurant wasting time. So decide who you're going to give your time to every single day. And you best make sure that your family makes it on there first. I mean, that for me, that was how I managed, was that my kids' stuff went to the calendar first. And so I know it's kind of bizarre, but like my calendar, let me show you. This little calendar is empty. Okay, this was a January calendar. This one's empty. It's just an example, but I want you to know that like I literally will write out for the week when my kids were going crazy. Like the blue schedule was baseball, the green schedule was cheer. I had to write down their practices and the pickup times and the drop off times, right? Like Kirby, you know, you're running the baseball and the cross and all that stuff. And everywhere. I had 2 boys that were right. What's that?
I said, yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere. And you live in a bigger area than I do. So your drive time from to and from is probably longer, right? Like how far is it to your practices?
It's about 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes, which is crazy because during the drive time in that 30 minutes, that's when I would be listening to a book on tape or a book on CD or like an iPod download or something. Like back in the day when I was running my kids around, I didn't have all that fun stuff, but I'd be listening to my scripts. My daughter wondered how I practice scripts. Well, I record myself so that I can hear myself, because listening to a guy say the scripts, it sounds different than me saying it. So I would record myself because I want to hear how I sound. And everybody's most critical when you hear your own voice too. You know that you sound like an idiot. Like I think I sound like an idiot. But women tend to talk in upswings. Would you like to sell your house today? Would you like to reduce your price? That is so not very effective. It's like, do you want to reduce your price today? It's a downswing, you know? Would you like to list your home with me today? That's all very effective, but unless you're recording yourself, you have no idea what you're doing. But the drive time is where you would save a lot of time, okay? So your time management. So first and foremost, like I said, you put your kids' stuff on your schedule first. I made sure I dropped my kids off to school every day. It's a promise I made to myself, and I literally lived around the corner from the school. Sad and pathetic, I know, but I didn't care. I missed out for 5 years, you know? And let's just be honest, I didn't fit in with all the soccer moms. I was not their type. I wasn't part of the carpool cool mom gang.
What? I find that hard to believe.
I swear, McLean will say to you, Mom, look, there's the soccer moms. They don't like you. I know. It's fine. I'm busy. I know I'm busy. I'm not a normal mom. It's cool. I just kind of looked at it as, okay, thanks. Like I'm busy. I know I don't have time for that. But really, no one would carpool with me. And that's fine. Even to cheer, not joking. Like cheer, I still had to find a way to figure it out. They would drop off like 6 girls in a minivan, and then there'd be me pulling up with my kid, and I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm struggling, but it's cool. Y'all are stay-at-home moms. It's cool. Not that that's not hard, but like it was a struggle. You know, it's hard. So anyway, so I make sure that my kids' stuff made it on first. The next thing is vacations, family time. Make sure that you make sure you have time. I didn't do a lot of annual trips, but I did take my kids the last really 3 years, almost 4 years to Newport for spring break. So make sure that you're doing one thing that's something that they can look forward to. If it's not during spring break, that it's during something. Down here in St. George, it's crazy. They get an entire week off for spring break. So I was one of those dummy moms that never booked anything because I'm like, spring break's a weekend. Like, what are you doing? They're like, Mom, my friends are going to Hawaii. Well, we're not going to Hawaii. Like, I freaking work. Like, I'm busy, you know? We're not going to Hawaii. Like I got tons of people that are in Hawaii this week, and guess what? I'm still here working. Like I'm not doing that. But I make sure that we go do something special. And I'm a weirdo. I like to road trip everywhere. Like I like to drive, and I want to be and spend time with my kids. And road tripping is like the best thing because we get to hang out, we get to be together, and we get to chat together. And if my son will nap the entire time, but I know for sure that like, it's just something that we always do together, and I enjoy it, you know? So find something that you do with your kids and make sure it makes it onto your calendar. That whole managing your time and the expectations is the biggest thing. So after you put all your stuff on the calendar for the day, my number one like thing that I would tell moms to do first thing in the morning is greet your kids in the morning. Good morning. You have a good sleep? I did it every single morning. And bless their hearts, probably all my kids hated it. Mallory hated it. But McLean always said to me, did you have good sleep? Yes, I did. And before I tucked him in at bed at night, I'd say, good night, McLean. And he'd say, good night. And I'd say, you're a good kid. And he, even to this day, he'll say, you're a nice mom. And he's almost 20. So these are the things that you remember the most, that your consistency, or this is your whole showing up for your kids every day. First thing in the morning, ask them what they have on their schedule for the day. So I would say to my kids, so you have practice today, you have cheer today, at 3, I know you got to be picked up at 5, so I'm going to be there. And then I would say, just so you know, I have an appointment at 2:00. So I have a listing appointment at 2, and then I'll be done about 2:45. So I'll be there to pick you up. I might be a couple minutes late, but I'm going to be there. I just wanted them to know that I'm working too, and that my time is important. But it was most important to let them know that I hear what they're doing for the day. So for me, I teach this, and Kirby, you know that because you're in my program, but I teach a 5-hour workday. And I know that that seems super unrealistic. And don't roll your eyes, Kirby. You got 5 hours. Don't laugh. You don't need to give it 10. You're doing too much.
I know. Keep talking.
It's true. You want to know why? Because if we're given 10 hours, okay, let me put it this way. If you've closed a deal, you know this is true. If you give a lender 21 days or 45 days for escrow, they're going to take all 45 days. Okay. If you only give them 21 days, weird, they can still get a deal done. That's weird. It's because you'll use the time that you have, So I literally only had 5 hours. So I would drop my kids off at 9. I'd be to the office at 9. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, at 2:15, literally, I had to be there. Our middle school lets out at 2:15. So I had to be there at 2:15. Only gave me 5 hours to get my work done. So when I prospected or when I showed property, it's funny how people say, well, I work 9 to 5. Good, you work 9 to 5? Yeah, I can only see homes after 5 o'clock. Well, guess what? I work 9 to 5 too. So I don't have time to show property at 5 o'clock at night. I always say to them, I don't tell them that, but I ask them, so do you have a lunch break? If something good comes on the market, are you going to be able to come over on a lunch break? Oh yeah, I have a lunch. Well, that's weird. Great. What time's your lunch break? It's typically between 12 and 1. Okay, good. So something comes on the market, we can go look at between 12 to 1. I can work with that. But even now, now that I'm not running my kids around, I rarely will show property at night. No way. And if it's dark outside, forget it. I'm not taking you. Like 9 times out of 10, unless it's like dire straits and we have to go see it, we're not going to go look at it because we can't see it. We can't see the yard. We can't see anything from the exterior when it's dark outside. So this is that whole controlling your time. Not only that, if it's dark outside, I probably should be home with my family or be doing something for myself at nighttime. So getting really, really good at managing your time is probably what made me 10 times more efficient than anyone else in my office or whoever I was working with. Like I would put my efficiency to anybody's. When you talk to a lender, that's a lender that I work with, they know from the time I get them get them pre-qualified to the time I actually get them under contract is pretty quick. Like I'm usually less than a week because we're not waiting. Like I'm not going to sit around and wait for you to get frustrated with the process or for you to hate it or, for you to lose interest. We're going to go look for houses right now. And that's because they're highly motivated. Okay. So managing times. So the 2 questions are decide who and what you'll give your time to. And your family is included in that. Your kids are included in that. Okay. And then time block it, mark it out. Kirby, you need to write this down. You ready? You can do anything, but not everything. So let's talk about that real fast. How do you get help when you're just starting out because you feel like you're running a rat race? There was a couple things, which is really cool nowadays. You guys can freaking online shop for your groceries. I wished I had that when I was raising kids. You should be online shopping for your groceries. Just think of it this way, like you're not standing in line at Walmart or you're not standing in line at whatever your grocery store is, listening to weirdo conversations, okay? Save your brain for that weirdness. I stand in those lines and I listen to parents say, we can't afford that. That's too expensive. Like, let's just go ahead and put caps on our kids' lives by telling them that something at Walmart's too expensive. Don't do that, I protect what's around my brain and I don't want my kids to hear that either. Okay. And if you're raising young kids and you can't afford something right now, you tell them, we're not buying that today. We'll make a plan for it so we can pick it up in a couple weeks. But we save for things. Okay. We don't tell kids that it's too expensive. All right. So let's see. Oh, the next thing I like to do is I hired a cleaner. So I learned a long time ago, someone was like, well, that's, in my mind, I remember someone saying, a top producer, that's so expensive to hire a cleaner. I can't afford that. And I thought that same way. I can't afford it. But just like the power bill, your heat bill, your insurance, your car payment, it's weird. Those are all bills. Okay. And they get you from A to Z. I needed someone to help me keep up on the day-to-day house activities because I didn't have time to clean. So I had a cleaner every 2 weeks come in, and she charged me $100. I have $100. That is a bill. It's a utility. And if your husbands don't believe me, tell them to call me because it's a utility. For reals. I am like, Guadalupe is my most favorite person on the planet. And I love her. And she's been with me for over 5 or 6 years. And really, like, I don't know, I think of her more than anyone else sometimes too, because I really, really, really appreciate the fact that she frees up some extra time so that I can spend more time with my kids. That's what she does for me. So I would say to you, if you don't have a plan or you don't have a cleaner and you find that you're making at least $30,000 a year, you can find a way to do that. That is a bill. And if it's too expensive, just find somebody, just bid it out. I promise. Like, there's work online for people for sure. But that really helped me out. The last thing I did was, what was my third thing I wanted to talk about? It had to do with business. Oh, it was just a transaction coordinator. So if you don't have a transaction coordinator in your business, you should hire one. There are freelancers that do that. And you know what is really odd? I actually charge it to my clients. So if you don't charge it to your clients, start doing it. Mine actually says on there, Keller Williams fee, or a Keller Williams transaction fee. And that is my transaction fee. I charge $250, $300 per transaction. And I charge it to my clients. They never say anything about it. What's yours, Kirby?
You just blew Sarah's mind.
Why?
We've never thought of charging him our TC's fee.
Why?
I'm not as smart as you.
I always tell her she needs to learn to cut costs.
Yeah, well, that's about, let's see, you do enough deals. That's about $12,000 a year.
So can I ask a question, ladies?
Yeah.
Hey, I love that idea. I work for Crylike, and we have a $195 fee.
Oops, I lost you for a second.
I have transaction coordinators, and so how would I do that? Would that be, how would I do that? Do I make another form for that and just make sure that gets added on at the time of title?
Yes. So when the title company asks me what the commissions are for the transaction, I tell my TC whether or not to charge it or not. I just tell them, yes, there's a fee. No, there's not a fee. And then they just put it down as a line item on there. If you DM me or send me a message or text me or whatever, or email me your email address, I'll send you a copy of like one of my old HUD settlement statements and you'll see how we lay it out. But literally I charge it to them and I don't bring it up. Like it's never an issue. Like it's just part of a fee. Have you ever stayed at Las Vegas, hotels? Like everybody has a resort fee. Holy crap. It's almost as much as the nightly amount. And it's not like I can dispute it. I mean, right. So, I learned that a long time ago. And you know what, when I first started out, I can remember my broker telling me to charge it and that like he wanted me to explain it on my net sheet. And now that I've been around the block enough, I literally hand them the net sheet and I go straight to the bottom number. They don't care what's in the upper numbers. All they care about is their net and just say, this is the amount that you're going to net. Is that a number that you're expecting? And then if they want to be analytical about it and they want to go through the line items, great, let's go through it. That's fine. That's our transaction coordinator fee, or that's just our transaction fee. Everybody has a fee. And if they ask if you can reduce it, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Next. You know what I mean? So yeah. Okay, so those are the 3 ways. Online grocery shop, hire yourself a cleaner, I love that your gal right there is like thinking about it. She's like, oh yeah, I love that. She's like, okay, we're going to do that. Make Kirby do that.
Done.
Oh, I will.
Girl, that, I know, right? Okay. All right. So the next thing I would do is tell you to overlap activities. So when you're with your kids, if you drop them off at practice or you drop them off, you know, doing whatever it is that they're doing, and you need to run to the grocery store right quick for something, for a couple items, overlap those activities. If you don't do stuff for yourself, because I'm queen of that until this last like 5 years, I finally am to the point now where I'm like, I spoil myself a ton and it's fine. I freaking work hard enough for it. But when I was younger and my kids were a lot younger, I didn't do much for myself. Go walk around the sports complex, get your exercising in, take your book with you, get 15 minutes of reading in. You know, everyone knows that my favorite book, that Heart Talk by Cleo Wade, is nothing but little small blips that you can start, stop at any time. Start, stop anytime. So get your reading in, get your mind right. You know, it's amazing what would happen if you can get your head straight. Because I know that's weird, but I can kind of get a little wackadoo myself. And I'm not usually like a Debbie Downer person. So when I get around people that are kind of Debbie Downers, I make sure that I get my head straight. Like I really, really protect what's going on in between my ears. I don't like negative people at all. So I'll spend really, really a little bit of time with them, especially when you're at like sport activities and you start talking to like the teen mom that's like negative Ned, wants to talk shit about everybody else. Just walk off, you know, just walk off, you know, go take a walk around the block, something like that. Let's see, what else was there in overlapping? So you can read and you can get some exercising done. So let's talk about the me time. That's kind of that's my third thing that I have on my list that I wanted to talk about. It's funny because I say that I didn't do a lot of things for myself, but I really did. The difference was, it was things that I felt like were necessities. Getting my hair done. I felt like, I mean, I grew up in the salon business, so I just thought doing your hair was like a normal thing. I didn't realize that was like a me thing. I didn't realize that. Getting my nails done, getting a pedicure. Like to me, getting my nails done isn't really super fun, but getting a pedicure, that feels like pampering to me. I've now started doing lunch once a month, which I never do lunch with anyone. But I started doing lunch with a high school friend that actually lives in my area, and she owns a insurance company, and she's the sole owner of her insurance company. She has similar scenarios that I do with working with employees or working with team agents. So I would tell you that if you do have time, or if you can pencil yourself in, that I call that my me time, because I never go to lunch with anyone. But now we've decided that we're going to start eating at one new place each time in our town. So I'm kind of killing two birds with one stone. I'm taking a photo of my food for my social media, for my city, for my real estate page. I'm enjoying a little bit of time with a friend. I'm getting my girls kind of chat in, which I really suck at, really I do. I'm terrible at chatting with other women. So it's good practice for me to like hear what their best business practices are too, because I'm such a driver personality. I just want to do it my way. So it's good for me to do that. And then, you know, it also satisfies just a little bit inside too for me, just to check out for an hour out of the office. So I would tell you to find somebody or find a friend that you can go do lunch with and go learn something from someone else's business. It will help you learn how to manage your time a little bit better too. Let's see. Oh, this is my favorite one. Make a plan for the time that you leave the office. So I call this one like your get in, get out. Everyone knows I really teach a theory of get in, get out, get in, get out. Anyone that knows me knows that I spend hardly any time in the office doing real estate. I don't want to be in there. I feel like my motto is, if my butt's in my chair, I'm not making money. Like if I'm not walking through doors, I'm not making any money. So I need to try to find somebody each week that I'm going to go do business with. And that's at 5 hours. By 2 o'clock, I knew I needed to leave. And I'm kind of a chatty person anyway. So I would get like sucked into talking to people, and I didn't really want to be. So just knowing that you have a game plan for when you're going to leave. If you're late everywhere, if you're one of those people that are late everywhere, which I am, making sure that you're saying to yourself over and over, I need to leave by 1:45. Because I literally, my friends like tell me to be there 30 minutes before I actually need to be there because they know I'm always going to be 30 minutes late. Crap. And I swear I try, and it's not because I don't value their time. I swear, I really do. But these are those things that I just know myself. I know I'm going to get caught up into things. So making a time for you to leave the office, and then remembering who's waiting for you when you leave. Those kids are waiting for you at home, or they're standing there waiting for you to be picked up at school. You keep doing that over and over again. It's disappointing to them. And you don't want them to regret your business. You want them to love what you do and be excited for you and be grateful that you showed up for them on time, So I would say make sure that you have an exit strategy and you get in and get out of the office as fast as you can. If you are like that, people are, hey buddy, I like your hat. I think if you do that too, people are less likely to steal your time. I call it stealing my time. Like, I don't want to talk to people that are going to time suck from me. Like, I really have got a plan to get something done for the day. And I want to get home. I don't know about you guys, but I like being home. I like what I do and I like working, but I want to go home at the end of the day. My next thing, my fifth thing is to be grateful. It's very, very hard to be mad or upset or angry or feel like the world is working against you if you can express some gratitude. So last week was kind of a weird week for me. I had an agent leave my team. And I actually was slightly proud of myself. And I can say this because it's not going to, but I was proud of myself in the fact that, like, my first instinct, I really was excited for her, knowing that this was going to be a good move for her. I knew it would be. When you're not thriving, Kirby and I were talking about this before everyone got on, when you're not thriving in the environment you're in, like, good for you for trying to figure it out. I feel like I'm queen of trying to figure shit out. Like, I'm always, like, I have to improvise, I swear, all the time. I'm like queen of improvising. My kids have a problem, I'm over there like trying to troubleshoot, right? Like, that's just what moms do. So I kind of think that, when my agent left my team, being grateful for the time that she was there, because what she actually did teach me was her personality type is a little bit difficult for me, just because she doesn't have the same, it's not drive, it's just, I have more of a like pounce on it factor and she's more reserved. And so for me, what it showed me was in the way that I teach or that I coach, I wasn't resonating with her. And so that was something for me to learn. It's not a her problem, that's a me problem, So I think, expressing some gratitude for the moments when we had those teaching moments. We're talking right now, and you guys can probably appreciate this in your markets. We're talking almost every week in team meeting, how do we get our contracts accepted? We're writing multiples and multiples and multiples. And how can we make our, offers better, not being so negative. It's really hard when we're writing, 5, 6, 7, 8 contracts for a client, not to express how negative we are about it. Instead, I would tell you guys, you should be really grateful for this market, because this market is where you build your repeat referral business. If you're getting a contract accepted right now for somebody, they will be a lifer with you. I mean, they will love you forever because you got them a home in this market. So express your gratitude for the market, because really this is a buyer's market, right? Where there is more people out there for you to bring into your fold, and you should really capitalize on that. So perspective, right? Okay. Last thing I want to talk about is make your list for the day. Who starts their day off with a list? I'm like Maddie and our list, we're crazy list people. See my list? Lists. I got lots of them. I'm like queen of a list. Another list. I'm the worst. Hang on, I got lots of them. Another list. It's really pathetic. It's so, yeah, see? I love your list, Kirby. It's like you know me. It's so weird. But there's something to be said for like crossing off the list. It feels good. Like, I don't know, it just feels good. So like this morning, I was so proud of myself because I actually worked out my abs, which really suck. And I was like, dang, that was on my list today. I got that done. My second thing was to make sure I got into the office. We did 2 meetings, check. Here we are on this meeting, check. And then after we work on this, we're going to be working on the ebook today. So that's super exciting for me. I just really want to do the checklist thing. But I start my week, I start every Sunday. Maybe you guys have talked about this a million times. Who said that? Oh yeah, definitely a list maker. I love that. Checklists are like the bomb. Like, and I'm kind of a dork. Like I even have you guys seen the grocery checklist? Like where it says bread, check. Like I'm a dummy. I like to do those too, whatever. What was I going to say about that? Oh, I start the week off with remembering I go for a deal a week. Everyone knows my mentality, right? I want one transaction a week. I don't care if it's a listing, a buy side, a buyer rep agreement signed. I don't care what it is. I need one contract a week. And that really was a game changer for me. I went from a brokerage that was more excited, like I told you, about the appointments attended. How many hours were you prospecting? How many appointments did you set? It was so much more action-based rather than results-based, that the minute that I went from saying, I need a listing this week, or I need a buy side this week, and the minute I get my acceptance, I don't care if it's Monday, like the rest of the week is mine. And I love that. That's so awesome. I still work my leads, but I make sure that I take the rest of the week and enjoy myself because I freaking kicked ass and I got the deal under contract, right? So that's so good to come from that place of mentality, as long as you're still working your leads. But really that deal a week was a life changer. It was such a game changer for me. I don't even know, I guess last year I did like 46 or 48. I can't remember how many transactions I did. But when you figure that out, for all the time that I took off, I put some deals under contract while I was out of town. That's freaking awesome. Like a lot, actually. I think it's like how it works for me. If I go out of town, like seriously, Kirby, every time I went out of town for a baseball tournament, I put like 2 or 3 under. It was freaking awesome. It's like the world knows that I'm out of town. But, you know, it's just this whole mentality and this shift that has to happen. And also I have to do it in 5 hours. So my urgency gets really, really heightened, you know? So yeah, so let's recap. Make your lists. Like your grocery list, your list for the things to do for the day, your list for stuff that you got to do when you get into the office. You best have a list ready to go. It should be the same thing every day too. Let's just be honest about that. When you come into the office, you should do the same thing. Who are your hot 5 people that you're working with? Who's your top 5? If you don't know who your top 5 is right now, off the top of your head, you better be writing them down. Like mine's on a whiteboard and it says who it is I'm working with. Your top 5, and then you're going to call those 5 first. Did you look for what was available on the MLS for them? Did you send them a text and let them know what was the new listings? Did you check in with them when there was no listings? Hey, this is Nicole. Just want to let you know nothing has come on that's fit your criteria. And now it's a bummer. However, as soon as one comes on, I'm going to message you and we'll go take a look. Okay. Not that big a deal. Stay in touch with your people. If you don't stay in touch with them, someone else will. Someone like me, because I'm active and I'm aggressive. You know, if you don't have rep agency agreement signed, watch out. There's people like me that will ask, do you have an agency with another client or with another realtor? No, you don't. So you haven't signed anything. No, I haven't. Okay, good. When's a good time that we could meet so we can go through your criteria? I'd love to discuss with you how we can find you a home in this market. People like me are aggressive like that and we'll do it. You know, I'm here for my deal of the week too. I just doubt, you know, we don't want to step on anyone's toes, but make sure you keep up with your people. So yeah, who's your top 5? Call them all and then go to your leads. Then go to your lead list. You know, who's due to be followed up with today? And then you should be contacting at least, I don't know how many people are in your sphere, but probably at least 5 to 10 of your sphere a day. And with Corona and COVID and whatever else is going on in the country, there's so many reasons for you to contact them. Hey, did you happen to see my latest newsletter? Crazy. We only have 200 homes on the market here. Aren't you so glad that you bought last year? We really do. We have less than 200.
You're joking. That's worse than us.
I swear to you, if I pulled up on my market, it was under, Kaylee, tell me what that number is. It was like 206 or 16 the last time I looked in our entire county. Yeah, it sucks. Want to know something crazy though? When we put one under, we're like, woohoo, we put one under contract because we know that there's only, 30 homes that are going pending every single day, but there's 35 that are getting listed. Like, it's bad. That's what we call a housing crisis for sure.
321 they're active right now.
Hit built and standing though. 321 active, but that's not built and standing. Hang on, I'm gonna get you built and standing.
I don't know how to find that.
Will you show her how to do that?
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
Type in that thing, built, type in the search criteria. I'll show my daughter how to figure out built and standing. I'll get the number for you, it's crazy. But that's okay, you know what? I'm still selling one a week. Doesn't matter, right?
We just got a
so
client and she said the only reason why everybody's been calling her, all these agents, and we're the only people that called and asked her if she needed toilet paper when COVID hit.
Right, right. Just stay in touch with your people, you know? Like all the people that I sold to last year, the phone call with them is, aren't you so glad that you bought last year? I'm so excited for you. And they're like, Nicole, this is so awesome. We are so grateful. I know. Do you know anyone else that's struggling right now? Because if they are, I've got ways that I know how to get their contracts accepted. Because I'm getting mine accepted. And every time we get an acceptance, we're putting it out. I mean, did anyone see my post on Friday? Like I was telling my husband, I'm on my way home. I'm sorry I'm taking so long, but I got an acceptance. You know, I mean, hey, we have to celebrate when we get them. It lets our people know that we're working. So
It's 258.
okay, I lied. There's 258 now. That's good. Built and standing. And by the way, too, our builders in our area are no longer taking contracts. They're doing specs only. Is that how it is where you're at?
We have a lottery system. You have to show up on Saturday and hope that you get drawn.
Yeah, lottery suck. We had a list. We're going to put you on the list. The list is terrible. That didn't work out. So yeah. Yeah, so anyhow, it is what it is. But you know what? I was also in the market when it was in the recession and every third house was for sale or it was a short sale or a foreclosure. So I've been in that too. And I can tell you this is far more better. This is way better than that. That's for dang sure. That was kind of a sad deal. People were just losing their houses left and right. Okay, so just to recap, let's talk about it right quick. Anyone have questions for me or want to share something? Let me just say right now, the way that my life is going now is family, then business. My family comes first. Like really, I absolutely adore and I love the fact that my kids are older now and they're my besties and we can hang out. And I love that they don't need me every minute, but I still make time for a family night. I don't care. Like I make sure that they come home sometime. And then business, but I would never trade anything. The first 5 years, I was definitely flip-flop backwards. And I felt like I just didn't have somebody to give me permission to be okay with the fact that I could only work 5 hours. And it was okay to put my kids first. And it was okay to put them on my schedule first. That business wasn't always going to be, you know, the number one priority. It definitely put food on my table. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but my husband worked out of town for 6 years too. So he only came home for 2 days a week. So Sunday through Thursday, I was a single mom and he came home on the 2 nights over the weekend so that he could be there for the baseball tournaments and the cheer tournament or the cheer comps. So it was rough to say the least, but we just didn't talk about how hard it was. Don't talk about it. Like the good stuff is that I made it and he made it in time and we showed up and we made it work, you know? So anyone have any questions? I'm so bad at managing the chat. How much do you pay your TC? Chelsea asks. So she charges me $250, and I've heard that her prices are a little bit more, that they're $275 to $300, depending on which agents sign up with her now, since I was one of her first clients when she moved here from California. I think the going rate is anywhere from $300 to $350. Kirby, what is your fee?
For sellers, it's $350, and for buyers, it's $250.
Yeah, more work. Yeah. Okay, and where to find a good TC? I would lean into your brokerage. Chelsea, where are you an agent at? What brokerage are you in?
In Bozeman with Engel and Volkers, and I know Keller Williams here. That you know they, I know I have a good friend there. She says that they have their own TCs that you can hire within the company. We don't have that. We got someone who kind of looks over the transaction and all the files at the end, necessary to say, not one that sounds like what you have that does all the work.
Yeah. Well, and there's only, they're not supposed to write like addenda and stuff for you unless they're licensed, which mine is licensed, but yeah, for sure. Like if they aren't like, that saves me so much time. If they aren't going to help me out, I ask my team. I get so irritated when I get the whole, oh, I'm busy. Yeah, don't tell me you're busy. If ever you're too busy for my file, you just need to say so, because then I'll just go hire someone else, because I don't ever want to feel you're busy. Our clients don't like to feel that we're busy either. So there's an expectation that I definitely feel like I have to set for that. But I would ask, if I were you, Chelsea, I would email the brokerages in your area and ask them if they have any connections with any transaction coordinators that they know that are for hire outside of the brokerage, because ours can actually transaction coordinate for other brokerages, and they do so. So just trying to find somebody in your area, but the best place to go to is either the team leads in each of the brokerages or just to the broker, you know, in each of those areas. More than likely, like they're fine to share. I mean, of course, they're going to try to recruit you, but that's all right. Just tell them, sorry, I'm not for hire. Maybe another time. I'm just looking really for a good TC, you know.
What do you have your TC do? I mean, obviously you're filling out the paperwork and offers and all that stuff. And then what do you have them do? What is she doing for you?
Yeah, once I put a contract, like once I go under contract on the buy side, I forward or else I text her and let her know that we have an acceptance. We use .loop through KW. So I just let her know that there's an acceptance in there. And really the only thing I need to provide for her is the buyer and seller's phone number or the buyer's phone number and email or whatever, which usually she can get because I wrote the contract and it's already in there in .loop. But she does everything. This will maybe floor you, but I've never opened escrow. I don't do that. And I've never ordered a home warranty either. So those are things that I don't do that I have them do. And they also send out a welcome email. They actually circle everyone in. They get they put everybody's information on there, who all the contacts are, circle everyone in. I like that she sends a welcome and says, hey, just so you know, I'm Nicole's transaction coordinator. Her signature is actually branded to me and to my team. So she looks as though she's an extension of my team, even though she's a TC for other agents. She uses mine as her signature. So she does really everything. Like if I want her to set up the inspection, I'll let her know the companies that we're interested in, or if we want to send out a 3, we can recommend 3 or whatever. I let her know who we want to set it up for, and then she'll get in touch with the home inspection company. The appraiser, of course, reaches out to me just because, you're the agent and they probably should. So she doesn't do that part, but as far as updates and staying in touch with the lender, she also sends out to my clients a timeline of events so that and it automatically syncs to their calendars if they'd like, so that they know what's going on in the transaction. And then she updates that timeline as she goes as well, so that if there's a change on an addendum, I'm not changing that. She's changing that in the calendar for them. Let's see, what else does she do for us? That's on the buy side. On the listing side, I just send her the photos and she uploads them. If I need a listing packet put together, I send her the old MLS and tell her that the old information is in there. She obviously can't fill out the MLS listing sheet if she doesn't know the property. So she'll just fill it out as best as she can and send it out to me, so that when I go on the appointment, I can finish either filling it out and or let the client know that it's coming. I really just take out with me the listing agreement typically to get that signed immediately. And then, because I don't like to overload them in the appointment, and then I let them know that there's, going to be an MLS sheet that I need them to approve that will tell them all the information about the house. And I just don't want to fill it out incorrectly. So if they can let me know to the best of their ability about what needs to be on there, that'd be great. But really, she handles, all of that on the listing side as well too. And then also calculating all the commissions and keeping track of that stuff, and sends it into our office so that I can get approval. Keller Williams uses Command. I don't know who else is on here that's KW. I kind of get in trouble a little bit because I don't like to use it. It's not for me. It's not my system. I'm 15 years into my career, and the last thing I'm gonna do is gonna go learn someone else's platform. and a platform that when I walk out of the brokerage, I can't take it with me. So I don't have anything to do with command. So she uploads everything for just the bare minimum of what I need to know there. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, she also sends out the home warranty list. You're right, Cindy. She gives us she'll send out like any, the options for a home warranty company. What else? I think that's about it. Basically, once I put it under contract, I don't want to touch it really again. Like I'll do my own addendum, like if I'm doing a counter or whatever and she can't handle it, or, I'll type out what I want in there. But if I don't have a second to send it out for signature, if I'm driving or something, I'll just call her and say, hey, this is sitting in the inbox. We make sure that gets sent out by 5 or whatever. We need to send that counter out. So she just helps me, make sure that we push through the paperwork. I suck at paperwork. I just feel like it's not my specialty. I'm good at listing and selling houses and negotiating contracts, but the paperwork and keeping track of making sure I got all the initials on there. And like, it's really nice to have a second set of eyes on everything to make sure it gets done right. So yeah. Oh, and she'll order me the net sheets too for my sellers. So if I'm going on a listing appointment, I'll send her out an address and the amount that I'm going to charge. Ask them if they'll ask. I have a title company do that for me. They work out net sheets for me. And then that way they can calculate I just give them a 30-day close or whatever. If it's already a buyer under contract, I'll send a copy of the offers over. Like I got 19 offers on one house. Dumb. So we actually only sent the top 5 over for, because those were the best 5. So I sent 5 offers over for a net sheet so that my sellers could look at it quickly. Any other questions about that? Transaction coordinators are worth their weight in gold, boy. And then you charge it to your clients and then it's not any extra money out of your pocket, So anyone else have any other questions about that? Good questions. I got contacted by some lady that actually does transaction coordinating for other states. I'll have to check and see if she's in your state, Chelsea. She was really cool. She stayed in touch with me for like 6 months, tried so hard to earn the business. I kept telling her, sorry, like, I don't think my gal's going to be, like, I think she's just doing just great. I don't think I'm gonna be looking for someone new. So I'll reach out and see if she works in your state and let you know. Anything else?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Anyone else have any other questions? It's so fun. I love this part of it. It's cool.
Do you have more like a link or something about the 5-hour workday?
Yes. Let me think about that. We've done that a little bit. I'll have to look through my other classes I did last year. Yeah.
We did do one on that.
We did. Yeah. Let me look and see what I've got on my links. I think last year I did it. I know I've got it in my program, but let me look and see though, as far as like a meeting that I had.
Well, I was going to say I'm part of everything. So if you just tell me where to go look, I could probably find it.
It's in the 5-hour work week. Oh yeah. Right. Okay. Let me look and see, Kirby, and then I'll send it out to you.
Thank you.
Like 5 hours, like it should be the goal. Anything more than that, we really are just kind of like spinning our wheels. And I'm the worst. Like I could spend 10 hours here, promise. Yeah, because I like to hang out with Maddie, she says. Anyone else?
I feel like I just have a comment.
Yeah.
So like being your kid, like, and being the oldest, I remember like it was hard to get a hold of you. And like that's something that you've improved on a ton is answering your phone. Like even if it's just to say I'm at an appointment, like that was super important because whether you had time to answer my questions or not, like just being able to like ask you real fast or just say, okay, no problem, it's not that big of a deal, I'll call you back in a minute. Yeah. Or call me back when you're done. That was super important to like me as one of the kids.
So my daughter is saying that like being the kid in my real estate life, she said that one thing I've gotten better at is answering my phone when my kids call. What she doesn't know is that first 5 years I was in real estate, like the person that was mentoring me told me to not take personal calls. And so up until 2 o'clock, it was like no personal calls because that was meeting time, prospecting time, script practice time, role playing time. And wait till after 2 o'clock to take the calls, where this is why I say, like, I really had to find a better way to make family part of part of my business, because really the brokerage didn't care about what was going on in my personal life. All they cared about was that final number that was at the bottom of my page that said how much money I had closed, you know? So for me, this is where, and what she's saying is obviously like letting them know in the morning what my schedule was for the day is huge. Setting the expectations of your day, it doesn't just help everybody else, but it helps you stay on task, you know? But letting your kids know that, hey, you know what, I have an appointment at 2 o'clock. So up until 2, I'm going to be available. But after 2, like from 2 to 3, I'm going to be busy. I won't be able to answer my phone. So I just think that that's just part of learning and part of growing into the business and learning how to protect your time, something that you just get better at. But I definitely could have done a lot better job, obviously, since she remembers it. Oh, it's so,
I was the guinea pig. You can't beat yourself
it's
up.
so fun to work with your children. So yeah, but dang, as a mom, here's what I know too. Let me just put this out there since y'all are still kind of in here. Like I didn't make a ton of money, but I always hit 6 figures. I can tell you that right now. And when I left that brokerage, I'd never hit 6 figures. The most I'd ever made was I think 86,000 the year that I left. And I went from 86 to 120 to 150 to 225 to 300 to 350. Like, I'm telling you, it's life changing. And it really was. Like, controlling your time and being so efficient made it so that you could just do more. It made it so I could just do more. And then, you know, when you start running a team and you start hitting 500,000 marks, and it's really, really exciting. But as a beginning agent or a new agent just starting out, no one tells you that, you know, that first year is like $35,000 and you just feel like such a failure because you're not hitting 6 figures. But it's a consistency or a time of doing the same thing and just being really good about, you know, getting in and getting out and getting your deal done for the week that will earn you that 6-figure income. I can't remember the last time I didn't hit 100,000, you know, like it is my expectation now. So that's part of it, is just knowing what my goals are for the week. And I really don't even know how many deals I've done yet this year. That's how bad I am. Like, I'm about the one a week. And then it gets to the end of the year and people are like, well, do you know where you're at? And I'm like, I don't know, somewhere. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what my pending numbers are. It's so bad. If I talk to one of my past coaches, they would think I'm a terrible business person. However, why would my business triple then since I left their program? I don't know. You know, that just goes back to the whole 1 deal a week. I just stay focused on the week at hand because I really can't think past next week. My mom is queen for this. If she's on here, I'll feel bad. My mom's always like, so what do you got going on in 2 weeks? And I'm like, hell if I know. I mean, I'm going to be here. I'm just going to be working. You know, I don't even know. So really, I'm about the week at hand and just making sure that I get my deal done for the week. So, but everyone can do it. Moms with 3 kids, 4 kids, Kirby with all your crazy boys.
I'm sorry, we were just talking about something. What?
Good. How many boys do you have? How many kids do you have?
2, 8 and 12.
8 and 12. So you're busy.
Yeah.
You're busy.
Sarah had a question.
Yeah.
She asked me, I'm like, I don't know, don't ask me, ask Nicole.
What?
She says, you know, with the whole 5-hour work week, like, we're both moms, right?
Yeah.
So we both have kids and we both have boys and they're both in sports. And our thing is, how can you do a 5-hour work day and still be that successful? Only because, like, we're thinking, like, clients, you know, they just call all the time and they want to bitch about something and you have to talk them off the ledge and it's a constant thing. And you don't want them to think that you're ignoring them, but there's no boundaries when it comes to time and calling and them having questions or even just going out to show things. Like, we are always out after work hours. So do you have like a showing assistant if you're not going at night? Or?
No, because I really rarely have an appointment at night. I really don't. I set the minute that I talk with them, because I think that all starts in the very beginning when you start to you're first going to pre-qualify the client. You know, I think that that's where it begins. You know, how do you find most of your business, Kirby? They're all coming to you, aren't they?
Yeah.
They have a lot of repeat referral. So if you have a lot of repeat referral, hey, guess what? They're coming to you for your expertise. This is the time I work. I'm busy. I let my people know that my boys have baseball games. I didn't always tell them when I was there. I was in an appointment. I'm in an appointment. I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. Send a text. I'm in an appointment. I can't talk right now. Can I give you a call back at 6:30?
Yeah,
like, it's
I do
around
that. I guard that because I made the mistake once of telling a client, like, I'm at my son's lacrosse game. Can I call you later?
Yeah.
And then it was like the whole thing went sour. And I chose from that moment forward not to work with somebody that didn't understand that I have kids and that they are a priority. And I will always be at my son's baseball game regardless. Like, it's just not an option for me to not be there. But, you know, there are people like that, and I choose not to work with those now, but you still run across that.
I literally figure all that out in the pre-qualification. So like if I were pre-qualifying you, I'd say, hey, thanks so much for contacting me. I'm so glad that so-and-so referred me. So let me just ask you this. It looks like you're looking for a home within 300,000 to 500,000, whatever. So what's your time frame? My time frame is now. I'm moving there now. I'm relocating. Okay, good. So tell me a little bit about like what's bringing you here. Well, my job transfer. Okay, what line of work are you in? I need to know these things. If I find out the line of work that they're in, I know their personality type 9 times out of 10. If they tell me they're an accountant, high analytical. If they tell me that, you know what I mean? Like 9 times out of 10, you're pretty dang good at it. And then you just tell them. So tell me, when you come out, are you here now? Or are you you're going to be making a trip out here? Well, I'm actually here now. I'm renting. Oh, good. So now tell me a little bit about that. Are you month to month? Yes, I am. What are you paying right now in rent? Does it matter? No, really. We have a budget. So you've already spoken with the lender. Yes, we have. Okay, good. So tell me what the budget is for the lender, what they say your max was. Like I'm constantly probing and asking for information. Okay, so are you working here right now? No, I don't start until the 15th. Okay, so are you free to go see homes that are available if something comes up, you know, that fits your criteria? Yes, I am. Okay, good. So we typically like to do showings during the day so that you can take a look at the property. If we go look at homes in the evening, you're not gonna be able to see the property. So when's a good time? What's always best for you during the day? Do you take your kids to school? Do you pick your kids up from school? Like, I'm asking all these things because I need to know about their time. You know, I'm asking, you know, and if they say, no, I don't have any kids, or yes, you know, I've got 2 kids, I actually have to drop them off at preschool. Like, I'll give you for instance, I was up in Springdale and we just listed a property, and I said to the renter, he's like, well, I would prefer it if I was home when you did showings. I said, well, I think that's great. He's like, I said, well, what days are you available then for showings? I need to know those things, you know? He says, I'm available every day except for Tuesday, Thursdays. I drive into town, so I'll be available until after, I won't be available until after 11:30 because I take my kid to preschool. Okay, good. So now I know I'm never going to call for an 11:30 a.m. showing, you know? So it's the same thing. Like, it's funny how like we'll respect others people's time, but when it's our time, we'll bend. Don't do that. Don't do it. Like, you're setting that, and it's from the very beginning. It's from that pre-qual. You are setting the tone the minute that you start pre-qualifying them from that very first conversation. Okay, good. I'm going to set you up on my website. I'll start sending you properties just so you know, if you're driving around and you see a for sale by owner, feel free to just plug that, or you see a house that's listed. That's my favorite one. And you want to know the information about it, plug the address into my website and it'll let you know if it's available or not. You know, because they're just driving around, they're going to call the agent on the sign. So we're going to preface all of that so that they're not calling another agent while they're driving around, you know, or if they see a for sale by owner. Those are my favorite. I love that. Just take a picture of the sign and send it to me so I can call the owner and I'll get a showing set up for you. They don't want to call. It's weird. They feel awkward and weird. They don't want to do it either. So just tell them to take a screenshot of it and send me a picture of it. That's how you save yourself from having to go work for, you know, with the for sale by owner, so that you can call them and you can see if they're willing to work with agents or not.
Yeah, your kids are least appointed though. After all.
Yeah. But then, you know what I used to do is I used to pay my kids $5 for sale by owner sign. Every time you drive around, you see a for sale by owner, just take a screenshot and send it to me so I have the phone number so I can call it. $5. It's worth a soda, you know. If I get a listing, it's like a few $1,000. It's a good deal. That's right. Baseball snack shop money. But yeah, like I really feel like the whole protecting your time comes really, it's early on. And once you establish that, especially when they're all your repeat referral clients, they want to work with you. They value your time. That's why they're calling you. you know, and that's just how you run your business. That's how you do it. And you're not, and I get those phone calls too. Like this morning, I got a text from a client at 7 o'clock in the morning, wanting to know if I could find out what the lease amount is on the house that she's buying so that she can figure out what market is. I text her back, no problem. I'll get back to you later this afternoon. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I didn't mind texting her back. I'm certainly not going to pick up the phone and call her. You know, is it okay that she texts me at 7 in the morning? It's fine. I was awake. You know, ordinarily, maybe I wouldn't have been. I don't know. I just was available. But if they're messaging you at 10 o'clock at night, like that's okay. Like it just depends on what I'm doing. If I'm with my kids or I'm in bed, I'm not going to message you back. Like that's weird. You message me at 10 o'clock at night. Don't expect a phone call back. You know, it's about what you set as those boundaries. And once you step over it, like with that person, once you like give them an inch, there goes a mile, you know? So just getting better at protecting your time. And if they say to you, oh, you seem too busy for me. No, I'm not too busy for you. But if you want something done, here's what I know. You give it to the busiest person, typically. No, and then they're always like, oh yeah, you're right. That's true. That's true. And you're like, yeah, I know. You know? Oh, hopefully that helps. But really pre-qualification, that starts at pre-qual. I feel like that's such a good time too to Q&A the customers is during pre-qual. Like I have a list of questions that I ask. And I may not ask them all in the same sequence, like in the same order, but I definitely ask them all. And it's the number one thing. If you don't know their motivation and you come to me and you ask me about a client, and you don't know what their motivation is, I'll go find out what the motivation is and then come back and talk to me because I can't help you unless you know that. You know, so motivation is key for all of it. Listing, selling, investing. You know, if you don't know motivation, you're selling to, you know, an unmotivated person. You can't motivate unmotivated people. So awesome. Okay, anyone else? You guys are awesome. I like the small groups. It's so much more fun. Oh, it's so fun. Okay, so that's the goal. Protect your time. Mamas can do it. So let me know if you need anything along the way. Oh wait, Cindy says something. If you told us if we find what? If we find a home, can you take off on your lunch break? Yeah, that's right, for sure. I'm queen of lunch breaks, man. It's funny how all of a sudden they'll bend when you tell them there's a hot property that just came on and they got to see it. Or I'll go preview it without them. I'll say, you know, it's fine. I can go ahead and take a look. And they're like, well, I think I can make it. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm pretty sure you probably, they'll make time. Just tell them you're gonna go see it for them and then you'll come back and you'll let them know. And they find time. They'll make a time to do it. So awesome. Okay, guys, you're so awesome. So good to see everyone. Hope you guys have a good week. Let me know if you have any questions. And then Kirby, I'll look for that and email you. You're awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your time. See you guys. I love the small groups. It's so much more fun.